Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Zach Cabria, the Marketing and Sales Manager of Utility Billing, and this video is on the new customer portal and all the nice new updates and patches we've had to it, as well as how you can log in both as an admin as well as a customer. So kind of wanted to look at the customer portal from a couple of different angles here and see how we can set it up, as well as what the new visual tweaks are. Cool, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So the first thing we have here is our main dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and skip in to our actual customer stuff. So in this particular production environment, I have already added one customer. And so here we can see, I pressed enter, we've got James Drummond, our lucky customer. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the customer ID because we're actually going to use that when we log into his customer portal. Now I'm going to click his customer ID just to go in and see a little bit deeper into this particular customer's account. So we've got the main customer dashboard here. We can see James Drummond, his customer number, etc. Go ahead and click the details tab. So this is all the good stuff that we put in when we initially enter the customer's information in, whether it's in bulk or manually. So here we've got customer portal. So now we've got allow access, yes, as well as a password. So basically when we first start up the environment, you can either individually allow access to different customers, and create their password, or you can do it in bulk when you upload all of that information. And of course, you can also disable it if you don't want your customers using the customer portal, but we heavily encourage it because it allows your customers to go in, see all of their usage, all of their bills, and if you do set up the Pay Now link URL as well as the payment processing, it also gives you the customers the ability to pay online. And each customer that you have that pays online instead of paying with a check or in person actually saves your company around $5. So if you think about that and you add it all up, there's a huge benefit to getting your customers on that portal. So I've gone ahead and created this already. So now I'm going to go ahead and see what it looks like to set up the portal. So now as the admin, we've created that for James. So now James can log in. But as an admin, we now want to kind of set up the customer portal to see what the experience is like for that particular customer. So for that, I clicked admin, and now we've got the miscellaneous tab here. And under that, I've got customer portal settings. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. So now we've got a bunch of different fields here. So you can see we've got customer portal settings and tons of different fields. So we've added, actually, previously we had maybe about that much, and recently we've added a whole slew of new options, which one of our rockstar developers did, and he did a fantastic job. So here we've got the company logo URL. So essentially what you would do is you would upload a logo of your company onto the internet and just copy and paste that URL here. You would do the same thing with your company header. So now this is a bit more in-depth and interesting, the Pay Now link URL. So essentially, as I mentioned before, you can do online payments. We currently use Braintree, which is owned by PayPal, or we are recently adding OpenEdge as well, which allows ACH processing. So pretty cool stuff. And essentially what you would do is need to go into one of those to create an account and put in all of the credit card information, etc. And they should give you a Pay Now link URL, which you would then put in this field here. So then when your customers log into their portal and they click, they can then put in all of their bank information, and our token then communicates with the one from your payment processor, and they take out the money from your customer's account, deposit it in yours, and keep a certain transaction fee. So it is very important to make sure you get that right if you do want your customers to pay online, but of course it's not mandatory. So now further on, we've got the Pay Now image URL. So that's already set up. That's just a nice little image. So when your customers click, it looks all pretty. And here we've got the sign up page URL. So essentially this is the URL for the customer portal where you want your customers to sign up. So you can copy and paste this and send it out to introductory emails if you'd like, or send it out in the beginning when you get customers onboarded, or however you'd really like. But this is an important URL because it allows your customers to log in and create their own username and password if you don't want to do that for them. So essentially what it would look like, it would look like this. Here we've got warning, create new account, because I'm currently logged in, but it would essentially give you the ability to pay your bills or create a new account, which a new customer would do, or register your account. So a lot of new options there, just allowing the customer to have that in their own control. So now here we've got a few new updates that have been added. So we see we've got activate archive statements. I like to keep that as yes. So that way it'll keep all of the statements for your customers and they'd be able to look back and it'll store it in the cloud so they can always go back and check their invoices. You can of course turn that off as well. Next, we've got enable services edit. So this allows your customer to modify all of their services like move out stuff and allows them to do a little bit more as far as that's concerned. If you do want to keep that control yourself, you can always turn that off as well. And similarly here, we've got enable accounts details edit. So if the customer wants to change their address, phone number, name, etc., they can do that. And we also allow you the option of turning that off so they can't. And we've got the same thing with service settings, such as bill options. So whether they want their bills mailed to them by email or by post, you can set that up and decide whether you want them to have that ability. And lastly, you can allow your customers to sign up in the customer portal. So it's always good to keep that as a yes as well. So cool. So once you're done with all of that, setting all of that up, you would just go ahead and save. And here we've got the workflow settings. So you can also set up and allocate the workflow. So depending on all of the issues that the customer has, which I'll show you in the customer portal, you can set it up based on priority. So lastly, in the setup page, we've got the FAQ page editor. So here, when you log in, this would be empty. And what I've done here is I've pretty much just copied and pasted from a template for a particular city. So you would see if this is your own account, you would have typical questions that you get asked when your customers want to log in. So you would want to fill all of that out so that way when your customer is paying their bills, instead of calling your phone or bothering your support team, they can just look at that really quickly and hopefully figure it all out. Just a way for us to ensure that you're spending less time and dealing with customers and more time making money. So let's go ahead now and save this, as well as save this. And now we can go ahead and check out the customer portal. So cool. So I've already actually I didn't have to put in the username and password here because I'd already done that for James, but you can see it quickly logged us in. So the company logo would go here, whatever your company is. And so we've got the services, the status, and the balance. And here's the pay now link URL where that would be set up. So if you click that, right now it doesn't really activate anything and do anything. But when you do use your Braintree URL or your OpenEdge URL or any other third-party merchant processor, what will happen is it'll open up a little window there where you can put in your customer ID number as well as your bank details and then just pay online. And then it would automatically take the payment out, etc. So here you can see the monthly statements. We've got it broken up. So I've put in a few statements, paid for James, and that way we have a little bit of history here. I haven't done a whole year. I've just done about 3 months. So you can see we've got January, February, March, as well as a graph representation of it. So if we click down to services, you can see where the meter number is, the meter address, as well as here, if you click that, you can move them out as well. And then underneath this, we've got charges. So this is great. So you can see what all the bill charges he's had, how he's paid, and all of that. So you can see all of the charges, electricity account level charges, what the charges are, broken down in a very granular fashion. So next we've got the statements. So these are all of the statements that this customer has incurred. So you can just click this, it'll open up a PDF statement and then they can just check it out or print it out. So really cool. You got the graph here, you've got all of that other information as well. And of course, in another video, we've got the invoice editor stuff so you can see how to change that all around. Cool. So next, let's look down here and click transactions. So that shows, every time there's been a bill, if they paid, how they paid, when they paid, all of that. Next, we've got the usage profile. So here you can see there's no graph now, but we can select based on the meter, the year, and then broken down by month, and then see exactly, if we press usage, how it was broken down for this particular month. Every day, what kind of usage they had. Now we can click and see for February as well as March. So pretty cool. It looks like March had a lot more consumption than previous months, and that of course was reflected in the price that this customer had to pay as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and click account details. So here is the person's name, customer's address, phone number, all of that. And now we've got service settings. So this is, as I mentioned before, the section where they can select whether they want their bills emailed to them or sent to them by snail mail. And lastly, we've got the FAQ section, and it looks pretty amazing here. You can see it's populated from that previous page. As I mentioned, this is just a template, dummy template, so you would want to put in your own information for your company and make it really specific, as much info as you can so that your customer can just quickly read that and hopefully handle any issues that they have. Lastly, we've got the contact us section here, so your customer can select whatever their message type is and just make a complaint or an issue, anything that they have, and that way when they send it through, instead of having it in an email or lots of phone calls, you would then be able to handle it in priority and allocated priority order within the platform itself. Great, so that's it, and of course here we've got the portal so you can log in as the client here, the customer. So a lot of new tweaks and additions added to our customer portal. It's all looking really great, and I'm sure we'll have a ton of new stuff to come. Thank you for watching. This is Zach Cabria from Utility Billing. I appreciate the time, and have a wonderful day.